across the map right now. And if you consider there's only a few back by Lebanon, and the bulk is right here on the edge of Warren County, across Clinton, and then stretching up through about Washington Courthouse, that's a heck of a lot of lightning in the last 15 minutes across the area. Jen, I tell you what, let's back out the radar and take a check on our thunderstorms that are coming in out of the west. This is what I wanted to show you. We're getting a severe thunderstorm in Rush County, as I mentioned a few minutes ago.
Now under a warning, Fayette, Franklin, Union County.
There it goes.
And there it goes. Okay, that's what I wanted to see. So what's happening is, and just to make sure you folks in Connorsville and Liberty and Brookville understand, the reason why the National Weather Service is doing this is a really smart and cautionary way to make sure you have gotten a heads up before it's obviously on top of you so you can prepare. Most likely we're seeing some pretty strong wind gusts with these warnings. When you see these kind of preemptive warnings to come out a county or even two away from the actual thunderstorm, chances are we're talking about a really powerful thunderstorm. Let me catch up here and take a look at this. Get the cheaters on so I can see them better here. Severe thunderstorm warning, Fayette, Union, Franklin County until 4:15. So you're looking at this flashing polygon here that's kind of in this diagonal to the top. The location of the storm is back in Glenwood, which is really back in Rush County, but it's moving southeast, and get this, at 55 miles an hour. I mean, it is just cutting a clip. Well, there you go. Just in one update in the last minute or so, you'll see it just push off to the southeast. We're looking at potential winds to 60 miles an hour in gusts, and there's been penny-size hail with this particular system, and clearly some frequent lightning. As you look at the screen right now, this indicator takes the square that you're looking at, or the 9x16 rectangle more accurately, really, and every lightning strike that happens, it sets it for every 15 minutes. So as you look at this, since the bulk of the lightning is over Rush County and maybe stretching back a bit, and we don't see anything really for this half of the screen, we're talking about a huge lightning field showing right across Rush County. Now we're talking about a lot of lightning, torrential rain again. Look at that magenta area. That's almost half the county. So it's coming down in buckets, the kind of inch to 2-inch rainfall rates that again can pull your car over. So for you folks across Connorsville and Liberty down through Brookville, you're about to get hit with this. And I tell you what, Jen, before we leave this, turn the skits on. I think I turned them.
I've actually got timing pulled up and our 9 first warning Doppler ready for you.
Beautiful. Why don't you take it from here and give the folks the ETA.
So I did a hand sketch here because the skits are a little bit behind right now, but the leading edge, if we just put 55 miles per hour on it, Connorsville, you have 6 minutes. That's it until this storm moves in. It will be there at 3:51. Columbia, same thing. Knolltown at 3:53. Alpine 3:54. Lakeview eventually at 3:56. But notice this will head down toward Brookville as well. Liberty, you're in the path of this too. So again, this is quickly moving southeast at 55 miles per hour. See, those are the latest times coming in as our machine just continues to digest the system. Specifically on the storm, I'm going to check one more time, just looking inside of it. Not any big hail parameters, so definitely a wind system as this continues to come in. Watching that leading edge, maybe a little broad rotation going on there to the east now of Rushville. So we'll continue to watch the leading edge of this, but as you can see, obviously a very strong thunderstorm quickly now advancing into the northern part of Fayette County. It's up there in your little panhandle, not quite to Connorsville, but Connorsville, you're down to 4 minutes at the most before this makes its way into town. So Steve, there's the latest timing on that one.
Very good. Thank you very much, Jen. Let me toss it over to Jason. I think you have something to add, Jason?
Yes, our media partners, WHIO, and our partners here, of course, at WCPR, are working on a developing story coming out of Springboro now. There are reports of a collapsed building on Red Lion 5 Points Road in the Springboro area. So we've got a crew that's on their way up there now. We're working to get more information, but that is in the Springboro area. Again, Springboro looking at the potential for some building collapses on Red Lion 5 Points Road.
Okay. Jason, thank you. Wow, that is not good to hear, yeah.
But I mean, we had winds estimated at least 60 to 70 there.
Yes, that's correct. As the storm went through, we had some reports about that strength across when it moved through Springboro. Right now, I want to give you a little update as to what's happening with the storm that's moving across Clinton and Highland County. There's the big picture, and you'll see the thunderstorms that are moving across the area, and now you get to see some of the lightning that's moving there too. Take a look at this lightning field. Wilmington, Hillsboro, and stretching back toward Washington Courthouse. It's moving down to you folks in Adams County, and there's our lightning indicator at 400 strikes. When you have that kind of lightning field, I find it hard to believe that as it enters into Hillsboro here shortly, we will likely see some power outages. At last report from Duke Energy, we had 13,000 people out. I imagine that might very well have grown. As we get a further update, we'll let you know here shortly. The thunderstorm that's active is that polygon that you see now. So we're looking at this continuing, moving through the entire area of Highland County before this particular storm moves out and we start focusing on, again, the next storm entering into the really Fayette, Union, and Franklin County area of Indiana. Jen, why don't you set this in motion? We'll get a little sense of the path here over the last few minutes. Let me step out of the way here, and it starts at about 3 o'clock, and you'll see how the storm looks like it has actually grown a little bit in intensity, and you can maybe watch the lightning indicator. It kind of grew, then kind of diminished a bit across the area, continuing to move in that southeast fashion. Now, this warning is going to continue as we go through about, I believe, the next half hour. Or Jason, do you remember when the Highland thunderstorms were going to be done? That warning.
The warnings have just been coming out nonstop. Let me find it. We are looking at 4:15.
4:15. Okay, so we're still looking about, I was saying 30 minutes, so a little shy of that. Now, as Jen pushes out the radar, one look over to southeast Indiana will give us this idea. Hold it right there for a second, Jen. I want to show you what's happening here. We're far from done because this next round, wow, I saw a little rotation in this storm here. You folks, you'll notice in Fayette County, about to see entering in with some thunderstorms. There's more to come back from that as well. Jen, push it back a little bit. Let's see if there's anything upstream. We call it upstream, meaning back further up this way. Let's take a look at these storms here, and they look to be maybe diminishing as they move in. Thank you. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, it looks like it, except, you know, clearly around the Indianapolis area, some of those storms are still real hot. I wanted to see approximately maybe when we're going to get out of this. Perhaps we're looking at, I would say, another couple of hours of seeing thunderstorms. Hopefully things will diminish and we don't see the severe thunderstorms such as we see across the area right now. Okay, Jen, let's update our folks in southeast Indiana. I think everybody in Highland County understands you have got a severe thunderstorm sitting over the entire county right now. For you folks across Connorsville, it looks like you're just about entering in some of the thunderstorms with the lightning and clearly some torrential rain moving in there as well. That'll continue moving southeast, and it looks like the trajectory would take it in through more Franklin County, and you folks in Liberty may just get grazed. I think that's why the National Weather Service built their polygon that way. It looks like the storm trajectory is really moving toward Brookville. As we look at it, can you put the skits on there just for a second, Jen?
There you go.
Perfect. Thank you. To the middle of the storm, down to Brookville, we're looking at no more than an hour getting that way. It looks like there's also some hail possibly within this storm to 3/4 of an inch. Presently, is for you folks who know this area, stretching through Fayette County and down through Franklin, here are some of the smaller towns across there, whether it's Glenwood in the next few minutes or perhaps to Laurel just after 4 o'clock. Got an update, Jason?
Yeah, 70-mile-per-hour wind gust for the storms that are moving into Bainbridge and Belfast. It's now moving east at 85 miles per hour. That's the Highland, northern Adams County
85 miles an hour. Good gracious. I have to say, it's been a long time since I've seen something moves that fast. This is the storm in Highland County. Jen, if we can switch gears, I'll get this back up again and just repeat some of what Jason said, just to give the folks a look. And when you get that set, why don't you set it in motion? I don't think you're going to get a sense of it, but boy, oh boy, is this storm moving. We've got 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts with this storm, and that's why there's a severe thunderstorm warning. You'll see the polygon that's stretching across there. there. Now, the next folks that'll be really affected by this, you folks in Hillsboro, obviously right on top of you right now. It's going to take a good 30 minutes and you'll be out of this, but clearly you folks in Peebles need to be ready for a severe storm that could cause some damage. We're looking at those 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts and moving east at 85 miles an hour. Good gracious indeed. I have to say, Jen, have you heard of something like that in a while? I know it's been a while.
I mean, we had that microburst the other day. I mean, that's not a straight line wind, that's coming down from the cloud, but that was, I believe, 85 as well, and that brought in considerable damage up in Hamilton, so that'll give you an idea of the strength of that wind.
Right. And again, of course, you know, we have those wind gusts that are coming out of the storm at 70, and of course this whole storm itself is moving along the ground at 85, so it really is just busting across Hillsboro, and it's going to be in Peebles obviously shortly. In fact, it looks like it'll be there in about the next 30 minutes or so. Some real serious thunderstorms moving just about to your area. I'd be surprised, based on that last information, we don't see that warning polygon start stretching down across portions of Adams County and perhaps into Scioto County. So for folks and friends that are out in Scioto County, you might give them a call, because they're in that border county that unfortunately is kind of a lost county for media markets, whether it's Columbus or us, because in a lot of areas it's very difficult to see either media markets. So if you've got friends or relatives there, let them know, because this storm will eventually head down that way. And clearly you folks in Peebles watching us now, you'll likely see this storm here coming up within the next 30 minutes as it continues to move across the area of Highland County. We're still talking about a torrential rain stretching across most of Clinton County right now. So it'll show you the enormity of this storm. The upside to this is some of these thunderstorms, as I watch them here, kind of Jen just rolls them through. We're kind of doing a little quick analysis. It appears, yeah, there's a lot more. Take a look at that magenta area when it starts up across by Dayton. One more time through, Jen, if you would, with the motion. Watch as it starts up here, back out, and look how pink it is in there, and it's starting just to diminish a little bit. So hopefully the storm is starting to lose some of its punch as it continues to move across the area, and hopefully it won't necessitate another severe thunderstorm warning. We are obviously also watching this area out by southeast Indiana. You'll notice Connorsville now in the middle of this storm, maybe the most intense part of that rain, and certainly a lot of lightning now starting to enter into that Fayette County area, and how quick it is moving as it continues to move southeast. It's going to move across these radials and move into Brookville. It looks like, it says 60 minutes here, but my guess is it's going to be faster than that. Clearly there's a lot of lightning associated with this as well. Jen, what do you see from your perspective with this particular storm too?
So I've got it pulled up right now in our 9 first warning Doppler. First of all, I was checking shear markers. If you guys want to switch back over to our 9 first warning Doppler, shear is where we look for that gate-to-gate movement of winds that are twisting within the system. There's still some broad shear with this one that I'm watching out just to the southwest there. See that little area right there? Maybe a little shear, and you'll notice as I turn off and go back to radar, it's right there along the leading edge. So some of that could just be the wind generally picking up and gusting very strongly. But I mean, man, whenever you look at that little, see how the reflectivity drops down just a little bit there? It's something that we'll have to watch. There's no doubt about that. But I'm going to turn on our Barron button. So whenever it comes to hail out of this system, hail estimates are going to be right around the ½ inch. I've seen it as high as 1 inch there near Connorsville as that storm continues to come through. But there you see just that, you know, obviously very heavy rain now in central Fayette County. It's approaching and coming in now as well to Brookville, and specifically, let me get this road for you, U.S. Highway 52. The rain is actually going to track right along that main highway coming into central Franklin County, Brookville. It is just a matter of time. Specifically, I'll draw you a fresh storm squall on this one, since the skits, which are the pink and the red lines there, are a little dated on this one. Steve, speed on this one's 55, right?
Yes, it was.
Okay, so 55 miles per hour heading southeast. Laurel, it's on you right now. Clarksburg at 357, Dunlapsville at 4, Kingston at 401, Roseburg 402, Salem at 404. But if I take it out a little bit farther in time, let me adjust that. And you're going to get Mount Carmel 4:15, Oxford another round for you 4:15, St. Leon at 4:25. So Steve, this one as well moving quickly. Here's the thing about though this storm that's coming out of Connersville. If it continues with the southwest trajectory, we're talking about this coming into potentially the north side of the city.
Right.
9 First Warning meteorologist Jason Adams continues to monitor the latest coming in. What's the National Weather Service saying?
The National Weather Service is now confirming damage between Waynesville and Harveysburg, where that tornado warning was in eastern Warren and central Clinton County. And also 22/3 near Sligo, I believe is how you pronounce that, in Clinton County, completely impassable due to downed trees from this apparent tornado that moved through about a half hour, 45 minutes ago.
Well, we were following that, and we were talking about the impact of that bounded weak echo region as it's known, and unfortunately we're coming to pass with what looks to be some damage across that area clearly. I tell you what, fellas, let's take a look at how things are across that area. I'm trying to bring it up here right now.
And I've got it pulled up on our 9 First Warning Doppler. So this is the area that Jason was talking about.
Good. Oh, perfect.
With that potential damage.
Let's go ahead and click on the reports and see what we find from the National Weather Service here, and see if we've gotten any reports in and around that area. Not as
May not be populating yet.
They're not.
Yeah,
they're
there's
not
Sligo, so that's the area that they're reporting the most damage right now, with the completely impassable in Sligo because of the amount of tree damage there.
And when we tracked that bounded weak echo region, Steve was on it frame by frame as that radar was watching the storm truck through west of Wilmington. We then followed that same weak bounded echo region into Wilmington and through that kind of city center. So I mean, that was the area that we were tracking live here on the air on 9 on Your Side, just to give you an idea of the area impacted. Several trees down, damage being reported in the western part of Clinton County due to a potential tornado that struck earlier this morning. But Steve, obviously also a very strong thunderstorm passed through there.
Yeah, that's the problem. It was almost a twofer situation. Not only did we have what clearly was some kind of rotational properties, and that was where one of our areas of interest were just a short while ago with a tornado warning. It's this area from Harveysburg that we were talking about, down through Sligo and over by Clarksville, and then approaching Wilmington and by Waynesville as well.
Now in Ogden too. Ogden, large trees completely covering State Road 22, making it impassable in Ogden. Again, that was another spot with a apparent tornado roll through.
Yeah, boy, that is okay. That is clearly what we were following, and as it moved across this whole region, we can kind of replay this for you. In other words, momentarily. Jen, yeah, let's do that a little bit as you kind of give them the latest on what's going on across the Doppler. I want to set something up here and bring the radar back, because we'll likely be able to see that and kind of replay that at this point.
While Steve gets that set up, let's head back to our 9 First Warning Doppler. This is the wide view of what is going on right now. It is 3:58. Almost 3:59. Now here on 9 on Your Side, the 9 First Warning weather team continues to track active severe thunderstorm warnings that are impacting our area. One storm in particular we're watching very closely. This is a new storm coming in from Fayette County. It is in Fayette County right now. Liberty, it is knocking on your door this minute. You are getting those big rumbles of thunder, the torrential downpours, and the wind is kicking up fast. Brookville, you are next there in Franklin County. You can see this Boeing segment. I'm going to highlight this with my pencil. Look at this. You see how this is sticking out from the storm? I mean, that is going to be a huge push of wind coming in advance of that much heavier rain back a little bit farther to the northwestern part there of Franklin County. Specifically, I'm talking about the heaviest rain right now is along State Highway 121, but it is following U.S. Highway 52 right into Brookville there in the central part of Franklin County. Cedar Grove, you're also going to be in the path of this storm. Oxford, you're going to get hit again. There's another storm heading your way. But back to the wide view, it's not just that storm that we're following. We obviously have, you're probably in southern Clinton County, southern parts of Warren County. You got woken up by the act of lightning. The lightning strikes are just in the hundreds this morning because of these strong thunderstorms. But if you're in Highland County too, probably got woken up by tornado sirens earlier. Now just those pounding thunderstorms. Hillsboro, not only is it raining heavily right now, look at this heavy rain that's about to roll into town yet again. I'm going to highlight it here on your screen. There's that new pocket of rain moving southeast. It's just shy of Fayetteville it is rolling into Highland County yet again. It's kind of coming in along US State Highway 124. Also, the heaviest rain is falling currently over US Highway 50, which, as we know, Steve, rolls all the way here into Cincinnati. So a lot of heavy rain coming down central Highland County. The amount of rain just in the last hour alone, I'm going to give you an idea of how heavy this rain has been. Quarter inch, so that's not too impressive there in Highland. This will continue to update from the radar site, but still, I mean, torrential downpours. We'll have to keep an eye out. We are under a flood watch as well heading into early this morning because of this heavy rain potential.
Okay, a little pickup from here, guys, if you can. What have we, Jason, what have we got?
Just an update to the southeast Indiana severe storms.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. We're talking about the storms being over Brookville. They're moving southeast now at 50 miles an hour. The storms that Jen was just talking about. We've got gusts to 60 miles an hour and penny-size hail across that area right now. Guys, if you can, if we can go, and I hate to talk inside baseball here, but if we can do a little slide box here. I wanted to put Viper in the box, and the reason why is I wanted to roll back to just after 3 o'clock. Now that we've heard that this area there was damage, here's what I wanted to show you. In a moment, we need to put Viper in there, guys, if we can do that. And I want to show you the story at about 3:08 as we were following it, and we can follow the path of what appears to be some real damage showing in parts of Warren County and then stretching over by Clinton County as well.
Or even if they want to come back to us full, I do have Viper behind us right now. We've got 9. There we go. There's
okay,
Viper
good.
full.
That's fine. Here's what I wanted to show you folks at home. First off, notice the timing up here on our map. We're looking at 3:08, and you'll start to see some of this rotation here. Why? Well, you can start to see that there's this little hole that's in here. Now, as we continue to move this, let me clear that so it gets out of the way. Watch as we start pushing it forward, and this is what we were seeing. All of a sudden, we get, just shortly thereafter, we get the tornado warning. We continue to see that too, and we still see what we call this, and we just mentioned that for folks who are watching, this bounded weak echo region. And you'll see it here that moved across the area that apparently has some damage now. And what's gone on is inside here there's weaker returns, and that shows the rotation that's in the atmosphere. And I often use the analogy, and did a couple of times, of a blender effect. That blender rotates, and what happens is that liquid starts forming on the outside, and there's less on the inside.